Our solar system is an incredibly large place full of many planetary bodies. From the Sun, the order of the planets is Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Mercury and Venus are the only two planets in our solar system without moons. This is because they're so close to the Sun that the Sun's gravity would have actually pulled those moons away from those planets. And also during the creation of the solar system, many of those materials that would have been nearby were blasted further out into the solar system, further away from the central Sun. The other planets have a total sum of 240 moons. There are also 462 other natural satellites orbiting smaller objects such as asteroids, comets, and dwarf planets, and also the Kuiper belts. Moons are overall similar to planets. Moons are just objects that orbit a planet instead of the star or instead of the sun or a star. So they're very similar. They have very similar rocky materials and the gases that are made up of them, because they were formed during the solar system, the formation of the solar system. Those same rocky materials that the planets are made out of are what the moons are made out of. Moons were created from the disks of gas and other dust circulating around planets in the early solar system. Other moons were captured by planets after planets formations, such as the asteroid belts between Mars and Jupiter. Jupiter has a lot of moons, 95 to be exact, and scientists think that because of Jupiter's closeness to the asteroid belt as well as its size, that's the gravity of Jupiter pulled so many objects from the asteroid belt, and that's why it has so many moons. Earth's moon, however, was likely created by another planetary body colliding with Earth during Earth's formation. We know this because the moon and the Earth have similar rock materials that are similar to one another. So we know that the moon came from the same material that the Earth was made out of. Our moon here on Earth is part of why the Earth is not perfectly sphere. The gravity from the sun and the moon are pulling on the Earth, actually, and that's why the Earth bulges slightly at its equator. The moon orbits the Earth about once every 30 days. These days create the lunar phases that can be seen on Earth. This is caused by the rotation of the moon and the shadow that is cast by it from the sun. And this is because as the moon orbits the Earth, there's a different percentage of the moon that has shadow on it and has light on it from the sun. And so this creates the full moon, the new moon, the first quarter, things like that. Other moons of the solar system are also important to talk about. Earth's, of course, is the most famous and popular because it's so close to us, and early human history was able to study the moon because it was so close. You can see it with the naked eye and observe it very, very well. However, in recent years, and from the beginning of astronomy, scientists have discovered many new moons from many other planets. So Mars is the other planet in our inner solar system. The only other rocky planet with moons. It actually has two. However, its moons are actually not spherical in shape. They're very rocky and lumpy, which I think is very interesting. I think that probably has to do with, again, the asteroid belts and those rocky materials being pulled in. Also, I don't think Mars's gravity is as strong, and so that's going to influence that it's not perfectly spherical moons. Then we have the asteroid belt that I was mentioning. So we have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and then the asteroid belts. And then out past that lies the gaseous giant planets. Jupiter, as I previously stated, has 95 moons. It is the largest planet and therefore pulled many of the stray rocky materials into its orbit. This is part of why Jupiter has the biggest moon in the solar system. Saturn is the next planet. It actually has the most moons, which I thought was interesting. It has 145. Many of those have been recently found within the last few years. Titan is the second largest of all the moons in our solar system, and it actually has an ocean under its surface, and is the only moon in our, it is the only moon with a thick atmosphere around it. Uranus and Neptune both have icy moons because of their distance from the sun, but they also have a number of moons. Like I said, there are 290 moons, so those planets also have a few moons. I know some of them on Neptune actually orbit opposite of everything else. Interestingly, asteroids can also have orbiting moons. Even though they're such small planetary bodies, they can have even smaller materials orbiting them. Asteroid Ida was discovered in 1993 and revealed a tiny moon. Even though these objects are small, according to the definition of a moon, they fit. Because as we learned earlier, the definition of a moon is just any object not orbiting the central star, orbiting a separate planetary body. Overall, moons are incredibly interesting space bodies. From their formation to their characteristics, moons of any shape and size are worth studying. I think they definitely hold a lot of mystery to them. Like I said, Titan has an ocean under its surface and a thick atmosphere, and that is so interesting, especially considering it's a moon. You know, it's not a central planet that astronomers have been studying for centuries. Earth's moon, of course, has been a great part of human history, and will continue to be the subject of many stories as Earth's only other natural satellite.